watch for the moves, they're not hard to find. Strong arm tactics so loud, only themselves in mind. Every player has dreams of making Orca fame. They'll live on in the minds of those who get in their way. Orcas all say, don't come for me. Mid-merge boots, they're so vain. As we set up the podcast webcam, the pod is here to talk Orca game. Orca King CK with delusions of fame. In this LRG world, he's the apex predator. Danny and Jules in tow, always ready to go. Now it's time for the show, they're the apex predator.
Hello and welcome to the Orca Pod, the Apex Predators of Australian Survivor LRG podcasting. Here we are back again, another week for Uncharted Waters, episode 9 on this occasion. And I see many of you already here live, and I know you cannot wait for TWIOLSH. We probably should bring TWIOLSH earlier to Free Frank, so then Adam can watch it every week before he has to go to bed. But nonetheless, TWIOLSH remains where it is, and we should have a very interesting TWIOLSH this evening with my opponent, who I'll keep that under wraps. Let's just keep that under wraps. But if there's anyone that's going to give me a run for my money, it is this opponent. The undefeated streak may be gone, but we will get into TWIOLSH later. In the meantime, let me bring in. It's only 2 Orcas for this episode. The boys are unavailable. One is at work. One is hobnobbing on an airplane or something somewhere. So, but you don't need the boys. You just need me, and you need my fantastic co-host. And let me, she doesn't need any more introduction than that. We all know who I'm talking about. Let me bring her in with the welcome.
Oh, hello.
Ash wants to know where my buff is. I thought my hair was looking particularly good today. I thought, I'm not going to wear the buff because it's looking good. That's what I thought. Sorry. Is that okay? What do you think, Loz? Can I not wear the buff today? I thought the hair was looking good.
Your hair does look really nice, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
But I feel like you still could have worn it maybe around your neck or something.
I don't like the buff around the neck. It's too hot, personally.
You see, that's my go-to. I'm a buff around the neck kind of girl.
Yeah, there you go. Here you go, Ash. Just for you. Just for you, Ash, because you sang the song.
We got to see your nice hair. So we all saw it, and
I just have my cool hair under the buff. All right. Great. What an episode. Unsurprisingly, one of the Nassau ladies was eliminated. I assume that came as no surprise?
Negative. I think the only surprise was how not concerned anyone else currently is in the game. It's apart from 1 or 2 people, the rest of them the game is just happening around them.
It is. And we can talk through once again all the players. I think we should do a little check-in on the Orcas champions as we are now down to the final 6. And all 3 of them are still there. Evan,
they are.
Ash, and Mars. So as long as KK, Danny, or Mietta go next, the drinks will be going ahead.
They will.
We'll have to see what comes from that next week. But let's talk more about this week and the elimination. I don't think there's too much strategy we can discuss because other than is this the right move? But I can't see how this move was got to be right for everyone. Like, was there a person this was not the right move for, in your opinion, Loz? Other than Jules and Dan?
No, absolutely not. No, I honestly, at this point, I'm amazed that they kept our girls in as long as they have when they didn't they haven't needed them. The votes didn't need their numbers. The numbers could have been pulled from elsewhere. And it almost feels like borrowed time where there was nothing the girls were ever going to be able to do to get any further than probably where they are right now. And it was almost that you could, we'll save you a vote and we'll save you another vote, but eventually you're going to be cooked regardless. So to me, the people you want to go to the end with is any combination of Mietta, Evan, or KK. I don't think it matters what combination goes. It doesn't matter whether Ash goes with them, whether Mars goes with them, but they're the three you want to take. And Danny and Jules cannot be a part of that. And they'd be foolish. I think anyone who wants to win this game would be foolish to have thought they were going to take either.
Well, maybe we should discuss that a bit further, and I'd like to get your view. So you're saying there's three people you want to go with, three, people that are less threatening to go up against, in your view, with Evan, KK, and Mia.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So would that mean, as someone who is a bigger player, like an Ash or a Mars, that they should be considering the numbers in terms of the balance between the threats and the non-threats?
I think we're past that point. I really do. They both think they've got, the numbers on their side, and I think Ash has them more on her side than Mars does. But either way, regardless of which one decides to make the move and take the other one out, I think they'll be able to pull the numbers to do it, and they can do it without Danny or Jules. Because I think if they got to the end, like everyone said, they would win. It'd be very hard pressed to not give them a win, given, the fight to get there, the underdog, etc. So to me, it's a no-brainer. The five should be Mars, Ash, Mietta, Evan, KK.
Okay, but let's examine that. What would be, in that scenario, the play for those three that you're not putting in the Mars Ash camp? Like,
I don't think they have a play. I mean, Evan is still talking about the fact that at some point he's going to have to make a move and start playing the game. We're at final 6. He had no idea what was happening the last 2 votes. I think it was a lot of luck that he knew what was happening this vote. By the time Evan starts playing, the game will be over. He'll have been voted out or he'll have lost and the game will be done. So Mietta is so paranoid, and it's just nonsense paranoia, given that nothing has gone against. She has been on top of every single vote. It has played out exactly the way that she wanted it to. But this constant anxiety and paranoia just clouds her judgment to the point where she's not looking ahead at all. She thinks she's this massive, massive target, and she's not remotely a target. Why would you get rid of Mietta? My God, I would take her to the end for sure. And KK, it's like really fun. And, I didn't vote for Greg and I didn't know what was happening, but, it's okay. Cause that was probably a plan that I would have gone with anyway. And I don't think the three of them have any plan. I don't. There is no plan. There's not a plan between the three of them.
What do you think from an Ash and a Mars point of view, what do you think their plan is? Like, what's their plan at 6 and beyond?
I think Ash knows that she's got KK, she's got Mietta, and I think that's all that's going to matter. I think no matter what happens, Mietta's winning immunity challenges. I think there's a remote possibility that if Mars loses again next episode, that they may keep Danny and she may take Mars out just to stop him going on an immunity rampage. But I think Danny will be gone after that. Because what else does Ash need to do? No matter who she takes to the end, she's going to beat them. Yeah. And Mars does not have the relationships that Ash has.
Yeah, from Ash's perspective, it's very, very fortunate scenario, to have someone like Mars who is a challenge strength and I don't know if, he's not as socially locked in as she has been, but he is socially connected. And he has strategic nous, as does Ash. I think this duo has worked really well for Ash, and it's continuing to work really well for Ash, because if he was the challenge beast who was unbeatable, then she's in a challenge position, right? But challenging position. But she's got Mietta there who can beat him, who has
beat him.
And who's not a threat for Ash's perspective. So Mietta's a great side piece for Ash in that.
Fantastic. She has absolutely set herself up beautifully, because Mietta could very well take out every immunity from now until the end. There's that possibility. She's not going to win at the end. KK won't turn on Ash. Christelle will stick with Ash and take out Mars if that's the decision. And even if it's not, even if Ash ends up in a final 3 with Mars and anyone else, I still think she can take it out. I think she knows that. I think she's set up beautifully.
You keep saying, but what if the final 3 was this Evan, KK, Mietta group that you're talking about? Like, would that not be their plan? Just to, go together to the end?
Well, I'd love to think that was their plan. I wish it was. But have I seen anything to suggest that any of those 3 are thinking that is their plan? I've not seen it. I've not seen it at all. Not one of them has mentioned their final 3. Not one of them has mentioned which big player they want to take out. Not one of them has mentioned a big move they actually want to do. All they do is fluff around. Mietta frets, KK makes friends, and Evan walks around looking confused, talking about when he might actually make a move. So unless they really pull it together, and I don't even know which one of the 3 could pull it together. I just don't see it happening.
Like
like Ash said, she hopes they're playing her, but I don't see it.
Yeah, you're right. KK is hard to move. It's not just going to happen organically. Someone would have to champion it. Mietta's never watched Survivor before.
I can't see Christelle turning on Ash.
Very close.
She would rather lose than turn on her friend. And how amazing. The groundwork has been done. Keep Mietta fretting every single vote now to the end. Make her feel that she has to win immunity or she's going to get voted out. And I think she'll do it.
I don't think it's as super crazy in the LRG to build up a position where, like KK may have here, where she's prepared to lose to Ash. Yes, some of us are very, very serious about these things, about Survivor, and we come to win, and that's all that matters. But that's certainly not who KK is. But even if you are that sort of person, ultimately, it's playing one of these LRGs, if you haven't played one before, and I know many of our audience has, but I know there's people that haven't as well. You get this intense experience. You tell me if you got this, Loz. I think you did with some people. You tell me. Or if you were just being cold-hearted out there. But you do build bonds with people, right? Very quickly. Some of which continue to last, post-game, right? Real bonds in the relationships really quickly. That does happen, right? Did that happen for you?
Absolutely.
For some people?
Oh, yeah. God, yes. Oh, 100%. 100%.
So you can feel bad about cutting these people even only after 2 days. That feeling of, your ally, your friend, someone you've enjoyed being with, cutting them feels difficult. And yes, if the prize was $1 million, you wouldn't have any issue doing it, right? But it's not. It's for fun and pride. And so sometimes these decisions that would not be the best strategic decision is a lot easier to make in an LRG for that reason.
Agreed. But you've just agreed with everything I've said. Yeah. That's exactly what I think KK will do. And I think bringing her along the way that Ash has, and I think it's been masterful gameplay. And if Mietta and Evan and Christelle shock me, if they pull something out, if they start playing, if they start showing some strategy, if they, get some balls and actually, unlike Jules, they're okay with balls, that they can actually pull something together. Yes, I will cheer for them. Do I see it happening? No, I do not. And I
What do
think
we
they'll be
think-
okay with that.
What do we think about the decision to vote out Jules over Danny? There was a lot of discussion that the vote should be Danny, that Danny is the more threatening of the two. It's been somewhat joked about here that it's Danny and the sidekick, right? Plus, Danny's probably better at the challenges overall. Jules obviously showed very early on that in the endurance or probably a strength one, she might be able to go past Danny. But a lot of these challenges that they've been doing post-merge, Danny has been very strong balance-based ones. Seem to be Danny's skill set. Full Jules went out very, very quickly in this challenge. Well, before anybody else. So they were like, well, Danny's the target. And then I still can't really determine why it switched, other than Danny was at Uncharted Waters. So maybe she got something at Uncharted Waters, and therefore we should just vote Jules. Because if Danny got something at Uncharted Waters, she might just give it to Jules. I don't understand why that was the reasoning of the decision.
I didn't see the logic of it. And Mars is starting to come across as a little paranoid and also a little crazy. The whole every advantage is my advantage, and if it's not my advantage and you find it, give it to me or use it on me or whatever. I don't know where the logic of that was, but also Evan found the advantage. Does he not have an alliance? Like, is there no loyalty that he would have told anyone? I mean, Mars at a minimum that I found something. I found it. We know there's no idol there. She doesn't have anything. How that conversation didn't happen, because to me, Danny was the far more threatening one of the two. And it's nothing against Jules. It's just that I think Jules it has been a little bit of that sidekick thing, and Jules has really laid it out every time. Like, it's been, we always know where her head's at. Danny, not so much.
Mars says we'll find out next episode. I was there. I don't remember this. I think it's to do with this. Danny, who knew taking my jacket off would spook Mars enough into thinking I found an advantage that I didn't and kept me safe? Jacket gate. That appears to be the reasoning. That does sound that's very paranoid from Mars, I suppose. In terms of this Evan and getting the advantage, like, I get what you're saying, but what benefit is there to him telling anyone about that? Even if he feels close to Mars, right? Like, that's
you can't get to the end by yourself.
It's a threatening advantage, though. Like, for Mars to go, well, now Evan, if he's under threat, could nope out of tribal, and then maybe I'm in danger. Maybe Mars starts, he's saying, if you don't have an advantage, like if there's an advantage, I want it, and if I don't have it, I don't like it, right? Mars could be looking at Evan if Evan was to make the mistake of telling Mars about that. I don't see at Final Six why there's a benefit in sharing your advantages at that point.
I don't know how you could, not have a single person in the game that you have any kind of trust with. I don't know how they move forward like that to be in this supposed alliance, to supposedly have these relationships, moving forward, but to not have the trust in anybody, not a single person. Whether or not you tell them what the advantage is, I don't know. It just feels like a very isolated way to play.
You also need to think
there's
about
nothing.
Sorry. What Evan said when he
there's nothing
found
to
it.
stop them blindsiding Evan, and I don't think he'd necessarily see it coming. Would he he said he wants to keep the advantage and leave the game with it.
Well, I think I think he said he wanted to, if he got to Final Tribal Council, he'd like to raise it there, which is, the Marianne O'Ketch move. Even though I think this would be after, I think this would have been filmed right around the Marianne O'Ketch Final Tribal Council or soon after. And so now looking back at the timetable, so I think he's probably got that fresh on the brain. And, I had an advantage at the end sort of argument, maybe thinks it's worthwhile. And if you do think that argument is worthwhile, then you really can't tell anyone because, I'm talking about 42 though, Jules. So yes, I'm correct. The Marianne thing happened. Marianne was 42, right?
Yeah.
Right about that?
I just think, like, that's a big call to make. That I think I'm going to make it all the way to the end.
But I had an advantage.
Go on.
You're not wrong, right? And this is editing is on my side. Marianne approach is overrated. You need to gag them before FTC. Otherwise, okay, I get what you're saying. You're saying differently to me. But the reason if you tell one person about your mild advantage and then it spreads around, there's no shock power anymore. You might as well just play it. Like if you're going to do a shock power advantage at the end, you need to know what no one can know. Because otherwise,
I just think that's such an overrated move. I'm sorry, you got an advantage and you didn't need to use it. So, okay, what did you do for the rest of the game?
I would have voted for Mike if I was on that season. I don't particularly love Marianne, so I also think it's overrated. Like that's my hot take there.
And I think it's a really big call to make to think that would be enough to clinch you a win when you did nothing else at all the entire season.
As Jules says, if you don't need to use it for yourself,
ammunition, it's power.
Yeah, used it for someone to make it. I don't disagree with any of this. He's like, no, just piss off CK. I love Marianne. Yeah, I bet you do. She seems like your sort of person. I'm just saying I wouldn't. I get everything you're saying, right? But I don't see any value in Evan telling anyone about this until he decides it's the right time to use it. That's what I don't see an advantage in sharing.
I don't know that Evan will know the right time to use it.
Yeah, I'm not saying would I.
He talks about timing, but he hasn't. There's not been a single moment that he's influenced the game with any timing. So, and
I don't think it makes a difference.
And you say, I don't want to use it. That just blows my mind. If you find an advantage and you want to.
But what I'm saying is, you won't know it's the right time to use it. Well, the right time to use it is when you're going to get voted out, right? And so, okay, someone comes to you and says, let's say Mars knows about it, and then Evan's getting voted out, and Mars doesn't want that to happen, so he comes to Evan and says, you should play your advantage, right? Now, if Mars was going to do that, he would probably come to Evan anyway, whether he knows about the advantage and say, if you got something, you should play it. But I don't think Mars would do that in any event, because if Evan's got an advantage and it saves him, particularly if it saves him and removes his vote, that could go badly on Mars, unless, of course, he was immune. So I just feel like people will tell you or they won't, whether they know it or not. And you know, Evan's point is, who's voting Evan out over Danny or Mars or Mietta?
Exactly.
So what does he have to worry about? Like, I don't think he's worried. I don't think Evan's sitting there worried. Like, he's not Mietta, who's fretting whether she should be fretting or not, or Mars, who might be fretting every time he's on immune. I don't think Evan's like worried. I don't think he's sitting there going, I'm next. Even though he was almost next on the Greg vote. I don't think he's thinking that.
That's right. That kind of, that you think you're so certain to make it to the end that pulling out an advantage that you didn't have to play at the end is going to be enough to win you the game, just says to me that he doesn't have his finger on the pulse with the game.
And use
this leverage, use it to make a move, use it to test the people that left. I don't know, do something with it. Like he
was left out of the Greg vote as well.
Yes.
And he had no concern about that whatsoever. Yeah, no concern. Was this the episode where Danny and Jules were talking about how they'd turn on each other, or was that later? Was that this one? Was that the
They said, both of them said there's reasons to do it, but neither of them are going to do it because they're such amazing friends and they love each other. Because
they said it's not the right time. I reckon what they were saying is if they got down to they're in the final four with each other, they'd be cutting each other left, right, and center because their story is too similar. I mean,
they're not going to get there, bro. I mean, it's...
Yeah, well, yours is gone now. But I think they both intimated... They both intimated, I think, that there is a time to cut the other, and I think it's like a final four, final three situation.
A time that will never eventuate, so they'll never have to.
They said Jules was shaking her head backstage, but she said it in the confessional that there could be a time, but it's not now. I
don't know if they said that. I think they both said that they love each other too much to ever get rid of each other.
Who do you think, though, if they got, let's say they made it to the end together and they're at the final 2 or 3 with each other, Who's winning that? I think Danny's winning. I don't think that suits
I think
Jules.
I think Danny's winning too.
They're saying that was production prompting them. Yes, that's what they've said to each other to like cool the relationship. It was all production's fault.
Yeah.
Jules says that Danny's winning, but she thought she was. I see. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's what you want. All right. So, Uncharted Waters, Safety Without Power. I can tell you that as a member of production at the time, I was really hoping that Danny or Jules would find that because it'd be way more interesting. But certainly they did not, and you can't control who finds the advantages. What do you think of the reveal of where the hidden immunity idol is?
I think that's uncool.
Uncool?
Because,
interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I do. Because the only person who gets access to that necklace is the person who's wearing it. No one else
They keep
is.
it on all the time.
Well, they do. I mean, and even if they don't, who goes around and touches somebody else's immunity necklace?
Well, yeah, I think that the
I don't like it. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's a fair advantage. And with the short time frames in between challenge, tribal, no one's taking it off. You've got what, an hour, maybe? You go from the challenge, you go and have a confessional. You're not taking your necklace off. You're leaving your necklace on. Whatever else you do, you go around, you strategize. You're still wearing it. No one else has a shot. And you're not pulling apart your own immunity necklace because you've got immunity. Why would you pull apart your immunity necklace?
Well, the clues aren't 100% clear that that's what you need to do yet, but I think we can presume that in the future the clues will be clearer. I also think Eden's made the point that he touched immunity all the time without your consent, Loz. So, like, I also, in my experience playing, particularly being Australians, that the majority Australians, people take the necklace off. Like, it's a bit of a humble brag to be wandering around wearing it more often than not. Like, people take it off and then put it back on again for tribal. Like, I get what you mean. It's only an hour, but I think as Australians, it's a bit tall poppy to be wandering around wearing the necklace for an hour.
Not
Did you
when
wear it all the
it's
time,
so
Loz?
fast.
Did
Yes,
you wear
I
it all
did.
the time?
No, I didn't.
Well,
Clearly, I didn't because Eda was touching it without my consent behind my back, and it wasn't while it was around my neck. So, and that's actually kind of sexy. So I forgive you. But like, I make immunity necklaces, and
Jules
the whole point of them is no, and I didn't see her take it off last time either. Like, I make necklaces. The whole point is you get some nice shots of them hanging up somewhere, but I want to see people wearing them. That's the point of them. And while Eden went around and touched my necklace, I wouldn't do that. Maybe that makes me old school. I wouldn't go through somebody's bag, but
hang on, but
it feels unfair.
If you got a clue that specifically said that's it, you'd take it off, wouldn't you?
Oh,
that's the interesting thing.
Big step ahead, though, from let's just go around and start pulling. Like, if somebody started pulling apart my immunity necklace that I'd made, I'd be quite upset. Just on the off chance that it might have another idol or advantage. I don't know. It's funny for me.
Well, you have to see how it plays out in the future and see
something
if
about taking the lid off. Where's the lid? I didn't see any lid on that immunity.
Now, I don't look. Just full disclosure, this was my idea, and I still think it's brilliant. Just now, anyway, I don't think the clue said lid. I think they've misread that. I think it said lift it off. Yeah, see, Danny said I misremembered the clue. That's what's confusing them. It didn't say lid. Yeah. That's what I think. I don't know what it said, but it didn't say lid. I think in retrospect, though, the clues which were intended to be progressively easier could have been easier from the start. I think the first one or two were basically impossible to figure out.
Yes, agreed. And even after we're getting the zoom on the necklace, I'm looking at it and going, that's not what the clue said.
Well, it didn't say lid. That was the problem. And lid was all over the edit. So I understand as a viewer, you thought there was something about lid.
But even
no,
so,
that's
what are you taking off of
that's
the necklace?
incorrect, Jules. It progressed. There were 4 clues. I guarantee you. If you go back and watch the episodes, there were 4 clues. Unless Vince accidentally put the first 2 out right at the start. Yeah. So unless Vince stuffed it up, there were 4 clues, 1 to be reviewed each episode. So I assume Vince stuffed it up somehow and released the first 2 clues at the same time, or clue 2 and 3 at the same time. How do you know they were identical?
The clues didn't help me.
Jules, you didn't go to Uncharted Waters back to back. How do you know they're identical? The lid clue was new to this one. This is episode 9. Oh, hang on, final 8. Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. That's the edit. Like, there were 4 clues. I will go back and check this, but there were 4 clues. Yeah. Vince may have accidentally. They could look. Vince may have accidentally did that, or we may have made a decision on production to release 2 clues at the second occasion because we felt that it was too vague.
Difficult.
Or maybe we wanted everybody. 74 clues. How many times have they gone now? 1, 2, 3.
Twice.
3 since merge. 3 since merge. Yeah. So there's the 4th clue. 74 clues. Maybe we made a decision to put the same clue, bring the 3rd clue earlier, and do them both at the same time because we thought they weren't clear enough and no one was figuring it out. I can't recall. But the intent was there would be 4, and Vince was in charge of Uncharted Waters. There's supposed to be 4, but in retrospect, I think the clues could have been clearer. Okay, so that's that. We'll see how that unfolds. Is there anything else in this episode that you want to discuss, Loz? I don't know how much. It was a 52-minute episode, but I don't know how much there is to discuss.
There's just not there just doesn't seem to be a ton of game playing going on, and it Christelle just seems whatever. She's having a great time, fun games. Evan can't decide when he wants to make a move. Mietta walks around and frets, even though she's never not had immunity. Ash and Mars both feel confident now because the numbers have gone their way. They're going to be able to get rid of the girls. The girls are on their last legs. They know it's coming. Yeah, I mean, the Scorpio Dragons, I
haven't got to Loz's episode title rant. We'll get there. That comes later. Eden's got a point to make. I want to say that I feel like Mars and Mietta really messed up by not using Danny and Jules to blindside Ash or even Evan or KK. What is that the move? Should Mars have taken this opportunity to take the swing at Ash?
I think there have been opportunities and neither of them is ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And there's definitely everyone's playing a very controlled game, a very conservative game. There aren't a lot of big moves happening and people seem to be very reluctant to make a move too soon. And I think we see in later LRGs that people are more willing to kind of leave it all out there. Whereas given the kind of game they played, both Ash and Mars are really playing quite conservatively. I think it's a waste. I think I can see both ways where the girls are so threatening that if you bring them along, there's every possibility that they'll get to the end and they'll beat you. So is it better to get rid of them and take your chances with your existing numbers? If you're playing that kind of conservative game, yeah, probably.
Of course, if one of them wins, well, then it's all proven to be a fine game. It's not particularly entertaining, but in the end of the day, some people come on these LRGs to make great TV and become the orca of the season and then go on to legacy positions such as this podcast. And some come on to win and then be forgotten about. So I don't know which one they are, right? Who won your season was? Who won my season? These people don't matter, right? Being on the podcast is what matters. And you've got to be a big character to be on the podcast. So, people come with different motivations, Some come to win and some come for future relevancy. We'll have to see what it is in this one. Now, would you like to have your episode title tirade now?
Yes. So there were only two others actually three. There were three. Keeping in mind that I like to honor the person who gets voted out if they've said something. And Jules had a couple of moments. Oh my God, I loved it so much. I'm no good with balls. I would have just called the episode, I'm no good with balls. I just thought it was beautiful. I thought it summed it all up. And it was just a cool moment that she didn't seem to get, nobody laughed. Like they were all concentrating on their balls. And I thought it was funny.
How many of them do you think are aware that Jules is a lesbian? Because I think you have to know that to find that funny. They're all aware of this.
Did people not have gaydars? Anyway, so that was number one.
Not everyone has a gaydar or a bad gaydar. People don't like to make assumptions about people, you know?
You could ask. Number two.
Daddy said it was one of the first things she learned about you. What were you just like, I'm gay? Is this the first thing you said when you arrived?
Jules is it's like, so, you know, it's like being a vegan. It's one of the first things you tell people. Anyway, whatever.
Is it? Straight people don't walk around saying I'm straight, like, is the first thing. Is that because people assume that's the default? And if you are gay, then you want to clarify that up front?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry, did you think I was straight? Oh my God. No. I'm not straight.
Makes sense. All right. I take that.
Title number two.
As someone who is straight, it's important for me to learn these things. So I appreciate that. That makes sense.
So episode title number 2 goes to Ash. And I didn't actually take my notes this time because I've been away. So I didn't have the chance to watch it at work and type out at work. But I think Ash says something along the lines of, I just really want the $500. And I thought that was a very nice episode title. I just really want the $500. So that was my second. And my third one, and I would have gone with this over the Scorpio Dragons. And it was just the girls all together, and the girls all went, girls, girls, girls. I just would have called the episode Girls, Girls, Girls.
As much as I like the Motley Crue reference, I don't think that would have. Am I the only one who knows Motley Crue songs? Or I thought, Loz, there's a chance you might know Motley Crue songs. No? No?
I know. It wasn't. I know what you're saying, but that wasn't the reference, and it's still funny.
I think it only works if they keep the girls. I don't like that title where they vote out Jules.
Well,
like
they
if they go for
the Scorpio Dragons anyway. And what I liked about it was this assumption that the girls could work together, but they didn't. And it's got like that double meaning that girls are not, you know, we're not always out for each other's best interests. We're not always, you know, but it could have gone that way. And what would it have looked like?
I think if Ash's actual quote was a girl's got to pay her rent, I think she might have sort of said something like, I've got rent to pay or bills to pay or something. If she'd said a girl's got to pay her rent, I think that could have been the title. But I think that was the intent of her statement, but not without that. That's such a snappy grab. You need the snappy grab.
But anyway.
All right. I take your point. Look, the people I played for Survivor with did not immediately announce their sexual orientation immediately upon meeting them. Like John, for example. But I know I wasn't on his tribe. Anyway, that was, I guess, unexpected. I did. There was the finger strength joke about Jules.
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yeah, well, it wasn't in the episode. I sort of like told everyone about it because it didn't make the edit, even though it was a great little joke.
No, it was. It was during that challenge. I heard her say that.
There was a thing she said to Byron that didn't make it about it. But I guess she was telling everyone that. That's why it was sort of funny. I guess because she was telling everyone that joke. She'd practiced it a few times before I heard it. Okay, so that's the episode titles. Are we ready to bring in one half of the Scorpio Dragons to see about their breakdown of their experience?
Yes, let's do it. Let's bring her in.
Well, returning to the show after a long absence of 1 week, when she was last hosting TWIOLSH. Without further ado, let's bring in one half of the Scorpio Dragons. Welcome.
Hello.
I'll
Who's
fix
the
this in a
sidekick
second.
today?
You're our
I will
favorite
fix this.
sidekick, though.
Oh,
Make
thank
you big,
you.
don't worry. I'm going to make you big. Just give me a second. You can talk.
So you better make me big. Like the one time I get to be in the spotlight.
I'm going to delete you for a second and bring you back. Oh, there we go. I did
Rude.
it. Ha! Magic.
Did you?
Oh.
Hey, there we
Oh,
Alright.
go.
yes. There you go.
So, Jules, it's been many years. This is your dream. You thought the season was taking a long time to come out. You've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I've been here for this experience with you for, 3 years, just waiting.
3 years.
Has it lived up to your expectations?
I didn't realize I was Danny's sidekick. I thought I thought we were equals. But I actually, like I said in the comments, I thought that I was the bigger threat just because of the idol play and the other advantage that was useless, but it was fun. I didn't realize, like I knew afterwards, after some talk, that if we do somehow get to final two together, Danny beats me. But yeah, I didn't know I was the sidekick. So that was fun to learn.
That's the perfect duo you want for Danny. Perfect duo for Danny. Someone who thinks they're going to beat you, but wouldn't. It's the ultimate.
Yeah, no. And like the edit really showed that, like especially in the Chris boot. The whole episode focused on Danny not giving him the idol back. Danny didn't even have the idol. Like there was a whole thing where he came up to me at the challenge and was like almost on his knees begging me for it. And I said no, which we can get into whether or not that was a good move or not. But yeah, and then the episode showed that it was Danny's choice. And I was like, okay, cool. It was sitting in my pocket, but all right.
Well, let's give it to you. Should you have given Chris his idol
it was my idol, it was not his.
So that he could have saved himself.
That's just 9/10 of the law. I think the move should have been I should have given it to him very publicly, not secretly like Greg did. I think he wouldn't have needed to play it, but Chris was very, very paranoid, so he probably would have played it anyway. At the Hannah tribal, he was sort of turning around to me being like, am I okay? Like he thought he was going then. So I think in that circumstance, I don't think he's got the balls to hang on to it. So I think it gets played there. Ultimately, even if he doesn't play it and we keep the idol, like I don't think it makes a difference. I think coming in the numbers the way we did, I think that group was always going to stick together and just pick us off.
So your view is a group of you, Danny, Chris, and Aaron is not going to be able to pull in one person to make a flip.
No, they were all just very, very loyal foot soldiers to Ash and Mars. And I mean, even if Chris manages to idle one of them out, I still think Ash was running Colt over there. And I think that, yeah, they would have followed her everywhere.
Who would have Chris idled out? Do you know if he'd had an idol? He
would have idled out Mars, he has said. But if I had given it to him publicly, Mars and Ash would have turned on Christelle. They have said. I've talked about this with them.
So he wastes the idol probably, but Christelle.
Yeah, I think he plays it. I think he doesn't. I think in that situation he doesn't need to, but he does because he would have been very nervous.
Oh, see, that would have been great because then we would have had Christelle come back for the merge feast and hand out the food. But as they like someone got voted out of the game and turned on by Ash and Mars. This episode 6 and 7
would not have made.
This could have been incredible television. Why didn't you give him the bloody idol? Oh my god, having poor heartbroken.
We've talked about this for 3 years, CK. I did give him the idol, and I don't think it mattered. I think ultimately the only thing that could have changed the game is if I'd handed the idol over at the Shelley vote. The minute Shelley went out, mine and Danny's game was down the toilet. There was nothing that was going to change it there.
I'm talking about my merge feaster idea with a heartbroken Christelle brought back.
We've established your ideas were trash. That twist sucked with my 2 hard-boiled eggs that weren't even cooked properly and Danny's bananas. The idol on the immunity necklace, I didn't know that was your idea. Can we point out the first 3 challenges of the merge were all balance-based?
and you wanted someone to find the idol on the necklace when you've got 3 challengers of the same skill set.
You don't need
Did you
the
not
necklace.
see that the same couple of
just
people were
need
going to
the
win those
clue.
3 challenges?
I don't believe people.
I think we've agreed that the clues were not great.
The clues were vague, yes, but
wearing
also
the necklace does not matter. People take the necklace off. That's my view.
yeah, it didn't.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, I don't know that I did agree that you giving Chris the idol would not have changed the outcome. I think it could have been a fork in the road, because a power move like that does shift dynamics, and
Christelle
whether
wouldn't
you did
even
it
talk to
publicly
me
or
without
not.
Ash present. That's how
Yeah,
much of a cult
we'll never know. And there's a lot of, it's ifs and buts, but you had a week 4 over on the new Nassau. Greg was doing his thing. Aaron wasn't a part of it. Mieta and Evan didn't know they were playing Survivor. You've got whoever survives potentially over on the new Tortuga. We keep Chris, if we take out Christelle, maybe we do, maybe we don't. Maybe they take out Mars. And I think that would have been a game changer, I think. Would I have handed my idol? Not that I will ever been in possession of an idol, will ever be in possession of an idol or an advantage. Would I hand it over? Probably not, especially not if I'm outnumbered on the other tribe. But I do think that it had potential to change the game up. But it also had potential to achieve nothing. So, I mean, you can't, hindsight's amazing.
It's not just that we were outnumbered and isolated. Like, Greg made it very, very clear he had no interest in working with us. Aaron had been non-committal with us. We didn't really get confirmation from him that he was going to flip until after we merged. Had we gone to a tribal, I think he would have done that. But yeah, he was non-committal. As you said, Evan and Mieta didn't even know what game they were playing. So we felt very much like it was us against the world. And I think there's been a lot of criticism that we should have not portrayed ourselves to be such a duo or had been willing to turn on each other. But when you've got literally no one was pulling us into anything. We didn't even know Greg was going to get blindsided. I thought I was about to idol Danny out of the game. I thought they were splitting on us. So it's just, there was, I mean, she and I have talked about it. We probably shouldn't have been so obvious about it and should have made it seem like we were willing to turn on each other. But I had no trust in anyone other than her.
What do you think about that?
That's fair. I don't criticize you for that at all. I think you felt like your minutes in the game were numbered at that point. So what did you have to lose by being this strong pair? Nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Before was perhaps being a little too aggressive to a lot of people that maybe needed.
It was more that people who clearly were very liked the softly approach in the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I thought I was in trouble. I'm not one to go down without a fight. And the episode title, Scorpio Dragon, she and I are both very fiery people. You've seen us on this podcast have heated debates with each other, mainly with CK. That's just, that is something that I struggle to tone down, and maybe I should have.
I'm not saying at the very end it's sort of done. It was sort of more pre-merge, early merge of whether, relationships could have been formed with Danny wants a better word than aggressive. I'm happy to consider another word. I just get, and I know this was not you, Jules, it was Danny, so it's a bit unfair to be talking to you about it. But you are so entwined. But Evan needing a moment, to go sit by himself because he was so confronted by the tone and the discussion points, is showing a sort of lack of awareness of how to convince Evan to do anything. And Ash seemed to get how to get to Evan that you guys didn't. I like the way you talked to Greg. I think Greg would only respect the way you talked to him. He wouldn't have respected anything else, right?
Greg wouldn't have respected anything I had to say, let's be honest.
Passionate, assertively passionate. What do we think about assertively passionate?
I mean, I don't think it's insulting, though, to play an aggressive game.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
No, I get where she's coming from, though. And we were...
It's the game style. It's better than passive playing,
Yeah.
which is
And
what we're seeing. So
I feel like the edit, I mean, maybe I'm just misremembering, but I feel like the edit is a bit watered down. There was a point at the Greg tribal where Danny literally like tapped me on the leg and was like, okay, you need to stop now. Like, cause I was being a bit much. She was holding me back. And then the whatever you want to call it with Greg at Uncharted Waters, the disagreement, he and I don't call it a fight, but whatever that was, I remember that being more as well. And like he claims that I came up to him and was like, you tell me how to vote. I came up to him and he was like, what'd you find? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you what I found. So I just pretended I didn't have anything, even though I knew he saw me. And then I'm like, look, if you want to work together, great, but you have to give me a name.
That's exactly what happened. But Greg, as we had him on the show last week, he had no problem with that. He didn't even think it was an argument or anything. He didn't care. That approach was perfectly fine for Greg. Greg relished that. He enjoyed it, right? Yeah. What we're talking about is, you didn't need Greg. Greg was never voting with you. We all know this. You've made this clear. You needed a KK who's very hard to swing. You probably didn't Evan or a Mieta. Tricky people, but, you had a whole day with them. Is there any thought about what you could have done with them?
Evan had already burned us a couple of times. Evan had been saying to us pre-merge, wherever the numbers are, I'll go. He told us he was going to vote for Greg. We thought we had him as a number in that Greg vote. And then the first time, and then the second time, we were, as you saw, Dan and I didn't know who had voted for Greg. We thought it was all the women. We didn't know Mars had. But we knew Evan hadn't. And so that was, once again, he had voted for me. And so I was not interested in playing into his games anymore because he was just going to keep telling us what we wanted to hear and then not doing it. And KK, as I said, if Ash wasn't present, she did not talk to me. There was an episode, I can't remember if it was the last episode or the one before, where Danny and Ash are talking and Christelle and I walk over. It's because I tried to initiate a conversation with her. And she's like, I'm not going to say anything without Ash here. So I was like, all right, let's go find Ash so that we can unlock your talking ability. Because she just
I don't think there was much you could have done with them. They didn't want to work with you.
No.
They didn't. And this, we said this right at the start of the game, is that you've got these big alpha women, like these powerful women playing the game, and then these super passive, introverted, not super social people. It just doesn't work unless you are able to change your entire personality, which Ash somehow has managed to do.
Oh, she code switches so well.
Beyond that, I just don't see any circumstance where you guys could have done anything different to have gotten a different outcome out of Mieta, Evan, even Aaron. I just, and absolutely Christelle.
Aaron was with them. Aaron voted with them.
Aaron was with them.
They turned Aaron. They did
too late. Like he left it too late. He left and he could have been working on the people he did have in his corner, and he didn't do that.
He didn't have anyone.
And
he had no one. Who was he supposed to work
have though? Well, what about Evan and Mieta? They were at absolute a loss. Didn't know what they were going to do.
But I mean, you saw Evan's pregame. His whole strategy is to not do anything, to be playing for second, and that's what he's doing. So I don't think you guys could have done anything different. Greg, Greg's saying you should have tried to play with me, not against me. Dude, you gave us no opportunity.
Oh my
goodness. He doesn't remember this, but Danny and I both remember it vividly. Right after we swapped, they've come into our camp. We are sitting under the tarp, and the other three are all saying we can't really know what's going on over there. We have to this is our tribe now, and this is the group that we're with. And Greg's like, but if we go to tribal, it's going to be one of you two. Like, he straight up said that to us, and we were just like, all right, cool. And then he would not talk to us about anything. We tried to get a conversation going with him, it was just nothing.
Greg should have said that.
I feel like Greg's forgotten the conversations we had last week.
He doesn't seem to remember that. And it wasn't in the edit, but there's a lot of stuff that if it wasn't in the edit, Greg doesn't remember it, but we remember it quite vividly. It was traumatic for us.
And then you could have shared your favorite food was pizza, even if it wasn't, and then you could have bonded over that. But he wouldn't.
You could have lied and said it was lentils.
Wouldn't even let you have that.
And then you just
wouldn't even let you have that.
Talked about lentils.
I know.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't even give you that opening. Very hard to build a relationship with somebody who won't even give you what's your favorite food answer.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where we wanted to try and start a girls thing with Mieta on the swap. And because I think Aaron and Evan might have been in a confessional or something, so we didn't want to leave Greg by himself. So I sat there talking to him while Danny took Mieta aside, and I'm just like, what do I talk to this guy about? I just got nothing.
You needed to talk to him about music because he loves music probably more than anything.
But I didn't. He wouldn't let me. He probably would have claimed he's never heard a song in his life.
Yeah. But that's his absolute passion, music. So like, yeah, that was the tricky thing. Okay, so what's really, I think many viewers might have found fascinating is that you and Danny did not start out together. Were not part of you, Jules. You were famously left out of this core 5 that had formed, or core 4. There were multiple alliances, but you weren't in any of them. And later on,
that's
of course,
not true. That is okay. So the 5 I wasn't a part of, and I remember when we got to that challenge. So I saw the buckets were already predetermined where they were. I saw mine was on the end and went, oh shit, because we're going to be standing here for a while. People are going to talk. And I'm standing there next to Xavier, who I already felt good about, but I was the only one. And Hannah, who I wanted to vote out. Hannah is the tallest one, and she was sort of standing side on. So she is blocking me from everyone else. I can see them all talking. Like I remember Danny was on the other side of her, and I'm like leaning around trying to talk to her. Nothing's happening. So I was already nervous. But then that night we got back to camp and we're all sitting around the fire, and I'm desperate to like try and pull someone aside for like a little one-on-one chat, and no one is leaving. So I sat down next to Danny, and she and I just chatted about everything, about being, that was when we found out we're both Scorpio dragons. We're like 10 days apart in age. We're both passionate about astrology. She told me all about her family. I told her all about my life, and we just had this deep chat, and I was like, right, this is the person I want to work with. When we got into the shelter, I like made sure I was next to her. I'd already found the idol with Chris, and then so the next morning is when we made the alliance, me, Danny, Chris, and Shelley. And that alliance was set in stone well before the Xavier vote. But it wasn't shown. So it did look like I was on the bottom. It was very much that there were these 2 alliances in play, and Chris, Danny, Shelley were at the top of that. I didn't know about the other alliance. Adam and Byron didn't know about our alliance. But yeah, I wasn't on the bottom as the edit shows. I was just part of one alliance and not the other.
Okay.
Good answer.
Did you tell people that you were a police officer as you were at the time, or did you keep that secret?
No, I told people because I had done the trial game with both Ash and Aaron, and they at least knew about it at the time. But also I found that if you're going to lie about your job, it comes across that you're being fake. Like people can pick up on that. So what I did was instead I downplayed it. I just sort of said, oh yeah, I'm a police officer, this is what I do. But that's boring. What do you do? And like, I just didn't really talk about it very much. Danny, on the other hand, was like hyping me up. We got to the swap and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a police officer. And she's like, no, but tell them like what kind of police officer you are. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. But she was wanting to like stress more of the like, that I advocate for children and that sort of thing rather than the detective side of things.
Can I say, and to both of you as the only non-police or former police officers sitting right here, your jobs are not boring, and everyone that doesn't do what you do wants to hear everything fucking about it. So you cannot downplay that. I once went on a family trip with a guy I'd never met before, right? His wife was friends with my wife. They're in the same mother's group. We went for a week away, staying in the same house. He's a cop, right? We're having get along like a house on fire. We're sitting in the pool, and he's like, oh, I'm glad this has gone well. It could have gone a bit awkward, like if we didn't get along. I'm like, I wasn't worried about it. And it's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you're a cop. Even if I found didn't like you, your stories would be amazing. Like if I went on a trip with an accountant, they need to be a funny person because who wants to hear about the accountant's job? The cops have amazing stories. So I don't accept that people will ever accept.
People go, what kind of cop are you? And I would say, oh, I'm a detective that works in sexual offences and child abuse investigation. There's no stories that people want to hear.
That is true. That's
the conversation stopper when you say that.
They're not fun cop stories. That's horrible cop stories. Yeah. No one wants to hear that. That's true.
No one wants to hear that.
Yeah, that's not a fun.
No one wanted to hear my stories on my season. No one cared that I was a cop.
Yeah, I don't think they care as much as you think.
Well, Scott always regrets not telling everyone he was a cop, so like it's worked out.
Yeah, but I think that, like I said, it's that he's coming across. You can tell, you can pick up that something is not quite right, that someone's lying. It might be a minor thing, but you just it creates a disconnect.
Everyone thought I was a musician. Evil musician, but musician nonetheless. But I guess I am a musician, so I guess it's enough of a fact.
Yeah, you have to be able to like sell something that you actually do or used to do.
So Anything else you want to tell us about more, Jules? What have we left out that we haven't?
I could go on for a long time. You know this, but
We'll do some big deep
I didn't
dive with
book
you guys
extra
later.
time like Greg did.
We'll do a deep dive with you both later at some point.
Yeah.
Any final comments you want to bring in?
Yeah. Look, no, I'll leave it at that. We'll save it for the deep dive.
All right. Well, thank you, Jules, for coming in. And now we're going to get to everybody's favorite part of the show, especially Adam from the Nassau tribe. He loves this moment. I'll bring Loz out. And how can I do this in an interesting way? Probably not. Okay. I'll just remove Loz. We'll see you soon. Here comes the TWIOLSH background that everyone's ready for. There it is. Boom. Get prepared to log off, Adam. And now my opponent for this week is still going to be a surprise, but you might figure it out in a second. But let's bring in our hostess with the most deaths for this week, Danny. Welcome, Danny.
Oh, hi.
You're in the
Appearance for Jules's podcast. Come on now.
So you can't miss Jules. And of course, this might make it clear we offer all the boots the opportunity to take on CK in TWIOLSH. None of them have taken up that opportunity so far. I guess the interview was enough, but it was not enough for this contestant. Here she is to potentially end the undefeated streak, the usual host of TWIOLSH, Jules.
I'm gonna take you on. I can do this.
Now, this is a lot of pressure for me because when I've been the quiz master before, I've just read out Jules's questions. Jules wrote the questions. I said them. I had no thought. I did no research. I just did what I was told to do. So this is, this is hard for me. So I actually had to go back. I had to think of trivia questions and try to make it tricky enough for the two most ridiculously LRG-minded people that I've ever met in my life. There's a reason that I was the quiz master for the boot order episode because this is not shit I retain in my head. So I'm equally excited and equally nervous to be the quiz master for you two crazies.
I'm sure you've done great.
You'll crush it.
I've done very little research to make that very clear. It's all going to come
I've done lots of research.
Well, you're probably going to win. But frankly, I think that's what the TWIOLSH segment needs, whether you win or like I want to win. I want to keep the streak. But honestly, I think the TWIOLSH segment needs me to be defeated to survive. Because I think people are losing interest in me smacking these people around every week. But I haven't done the research. But if I win with no research, great. Crown me the king.
I mean, by research, I watched the episodes.
I haven't even gone back to my notes, Jules. I've done nothing. But I've been doing that. Every week. It's been working out pretty well. Let's hit it.
All right.
We don't need the rules.
Jules, where are we going, baby?
Let's go with Backyard 4.
Backyard 4. All right. At the previous tribal council, Casper copped 5 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Which 2 castaways did they express particular disappointment in for their vote?
Ooh. Okay. That's a true. Okay. I think Josh will be one of them. I'm going to say Josh and Matt C.
Correct.
Ooh.
Right, well done.
Playing with fire. Of course.
I assumed that Danny would make this really hard, so I didn't pick it.
Well, this is like a 2-parter. All right, so there's half a point on each because I can. All right, so half a point is for the correct player and half a point for the actual correct thing.
Okay.
Who had the opening confessional and how did it begin?
So what episode is this? This is... Did I get booted in the episode before this or... No. So Tash got booted. I think is that what we did last week? Yeah, Tash got booted. No, that was me. No, that was me. I got booted, right? I'm so lost. This is episode 9. Episode 8 is I got booted. Yeah, okay. So the Tash thing has happened, and the question is again. Sorry, who had the opening confessional?
And how did it begin?
And how did it begin? It was Brady, and it was like that. It was all chaos, something like that.
Incorrect.
That's my second guess.
My internet cut out. What name did he say?
He said Brady.
No, it was Chloe, and it was something along the lines of Tribal could not have gone better.
You get the half a point. It was Chloe, and it started with, "Oh my God."
Oh, and then she's like, Tribal could have gone better. Yeah, I forgot the "oh my God."
Correct.
Would have gone better for me. It's one point. It says you get 1 point, Jules. You're on 3.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
That's a steal. It's a half. It's a steal, so you're on a half.
Yeah, I'll take that. So I'm 2.5 to 0.
Yeah.
Good start.
0.
I am going to go to Canberra versus the world.
Do you want to bring in the phone a friend?
Let's bring her in anyway. I'll just have a chat. I'll know the answer better than she will, probably.
Probably.
We got this.
I don't know any of the answers.
That's fine. I do.
Yep. So you don't need me.
No, I just want to chill.
So this was a very weird immunity challenge, like a very long immunity challenge. We did geography questions, we did survivor questions, and we did touchy subjects. In touchy subjects, who was voted most deserving to win Soul Survivor, as well as a bitter juror?
That is the woman who is my current phone a friend. It was Loz.
Correct.
Wait, sorry, Loz.
Did you know that one, Loz?
I knew that one.
Did you know that one?
That was when I knew.
She wasn't the only person that was voted bitter juror, though. She was tied for that one.
She was tied. She was tied.
Tied was Sab, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Tied was Sab? Yeah. But they were correct. Loz did deserve to win, and she was definitely going to be a bitter juror. They were spot on.
Yeah.
The cast knew her work.
Back on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your final
Thanks,
word
Loz.
said it all, that you'll vote for Pauline so that she can get some egg-free, nut-free, butter-free, kiwi fruit-free, anaphylactic food.
Because that food's expensive.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Thanks, Loz. You knew that one. Well done. All right. Give me Melbourne 2.
You want Warren diet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've lost already, probably.
Episode 9 seems to love touchy subjects as an immunity challenge, because it was the same for Warren diet. Who was voted as least deserving to be there?
Least deserving. I thought you were going to ask the one about who needs to get their life fucking together, and it was like fucking horrible, like thing. Harsh one that was. Who least deserves to be there? Okay. I don't think it would have been Jake or Nick or Tara. Or probably Rance or CM, which makes me feel it would be. I feel like it's poor Emily who gets beat up this entire season. Is it Emily? Oh no,
It was Rancy.
It was Rancy.
that's harsh, man. That guy had cancer, beat cancer, and he's doing really well. He's on the bottom. It's a harsh statement from the rest of that cast. It's a harsh cast.
It was a harsh cast. They were harsh questions too, though. It was like they were
really bad.
Oh my god.
All right, let's go to Backyard 5.
Backyard?
I've already won, but I just want to get the clean sweep.
No, you get a clean sweep here.
5.5 points.
Yeah, it's what the world needs.
Yes. Who said in their confessional that Mark needs to be very careful?
Oh, that's a vague one. Who would say that? I would probably say that. Was that Haley?
It was Haley.
I would have got that. I would have got that one. I would have got the two questions. I've chosen poorly. I should have chose Cameron.
Look, I tried to imagine it in a Kiwi accent. I'm like, that fits.
I've chosen very poorly in this quiz. I could be doing a lot better. Okay, well, let's see if Jules can get a clean sweep, or can I get the Melbourne mystery box?
All right, let's war and die.
Great.
Tara won reward along with immunity. What was her breakfast selection of choice while on reward?
You didn't ask, like, who did she bring, which I think was...
No, that was too easy.
Jake and someone else. Just
No.
Jake?
No,
Wasn't Jake.
it was Francie and Liam. No, sorry, Rancy and Jason.
Jason Musters. I feel like it was like a cereal, like a non-milk cereal, like she's eating cereal out of a box. No.
They were all cereal.
Yeah, they were all cereals.
I got to pick a cereal, do I? Oh.
Yeah.
Cornflakes.
I don't know what they're called. It's like those Wheat Bix Bite things with the fruit in it.
Wheat Bix Bites.
Well done, Jules. You swept me. And TWIOLSH remains alive.
Finally, someone beat you.
Well, you know, like, I'm happy to be
this very
defeated
seriously.
You did, yeah, you clearly did. I'm happy to be beaten more now and then. That's fine. Keeps it runs for all human. We're not all gods.
Also, I'm just so happy to see the three of us back on the screen again together.
I know,
I've
it's
missed
been
us.
too long. Well, we got a Canberra 3 trailer, Canberra 4 trailer today, so we're all unspoiled on that one. So we'll be back.
Yes, we'll be covering Canberra 4. And maybe if you want, Jules, you can take on the contestants in TWIOLSH and Canberra 4.
And we're still going to do TWIOLSH.
Yes, TWIOLSH never dies. TWIOLSH
Okay.
never dies.
We'll discuss this.
There's still 5 people here and they love it. Well, we'll see you guys soon. Goodbye. Thank you. Well done, Jules. What an episode for Jules. She wins TWIOLSH. She gets booted from the episode from Melbourne. It's all happening for her today. And now we bring back in Loz for the final part of the segment.
You got beaten, CK.
I did. Yeah, it happens. Happens to everyone. No one goes undefeated. It's all good. I'm humble in my defeat. Okay, so tell me. It's what the audience wants. The audience probably wants me to be like bothered about it. I'm very upset. Do you want that, audience? Is that what you want? You want to see me cry? Is that what the audience wants?
Just a few tears, a couple. Yeah, there we go.
I lost. Okay. Okay, so 2 questions for you. Who is the orca of the episode and what is going to happen next?
It's a tough episode to pick an orca, I think.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of orca behavior going on.
Should we just give it to Jules or Danny then?
Yeah, I think Jules fought it out. Like, I think she fought to the death.
Right.
I didn't see it much from anyone else. So, and I think Danny's next orca episode will probably be next episode. So, yeah, I feel like it's got to be Jules. Like, she was at least she was being defensive, at Tribal Council, which was good. And she got into an argument with Mars about why he would want to take Evan to the end when he's so unreliable. And so Jules to me is if we're going to pick one.
I think that's Jules finishing up the season on 3. Greg finished on 2. Danny's still in on 2, and Hannah and Nat on 1 each. Yes, I think we can give it to Jules. Jules was very upset she didn't give it. She didn't get last week. She was very upset at you and Josh about that. I didn't even get my tiebreaker. You both just locked it. You guys just locked in Greg immediately.
We gave it to Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, just like right away. It wasn't even a question. You were both like, Greg, and Jules was backstage fuming.
I didn't make these rules. I didn't make them. I just follow them.
All right. But anyway, Jules is the orca of the episode. The Brummy goes to her. And you're predicting a Danny boot based on what you just said? Is that what you think is going to happen? Or is something more interesting going to happen?
Look, there's always the possibility that I'm going to be shocked, that something interesting might actually happen. I'm always hopeful. Do I believe that's what's going to happen? No, probably not. I feel like my girl Danny is going to go, and I don't think there's anything she can do unless Ash finally decides that next week is the week to make the move to take out Mars. That's the hope.
I'm not talking about what happens at all in terms of who gets voted out, but I can tell you something interesting does happen, and you will enjoy it thoroughly. And that's what I'll have to say about that. Well, you might.
That makes me happy.
We'll see if you'll enjoy it. You probably won't enjoy it too much, actually, but I'll enjoy it.
Well, then I can bitch about it next week on the podcast.
You'll just be disappointed that maybe you were incorrect about something. That's about where you'll be on this one, but I'll enjoy it.
Is it something I'm going to be happy that I was wrong about?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe, probably not, because that makes me right. So we'll have to see. But it's got nothing to do with the boot, and more about other matters that you look forward to that next week. And the boot may or may not be what you predicted. We'll have to see that too. Until next week, we will see you then. Thank you to Loz. No thanks to Josh and Mark for bailing on us the last minute. Thank you, Jules, for a great interview and for finally defeating me at TWIOLSH. Thank you, Danny, for coming in and hosting TWIOLSH. Thank you, everyone who watched live. We love all of you who watch live. We love all of you who stay for TWIOLSH the most, the 4 of you that are still here. You're the most loved. And we love everyone that watches after the fact. We appreciate all of your support, as do all of the creators of the LRGs. Thank you to everyone. Yes, thanks, Jules. And until next week, we shall dance.